Hello, and welcome to meditation. Today we'll be meditating on meditation. Find your way to a comfortable seated position. Allow yourself a moment to get the wiggles out, to adjust yourself in a way that your seat is rooted down, the spine is straight, and the crown of the head is rising up. The shoulders are positioned above the hips, and the ears are positioned above the shoulders. Once you feel comfortable in your seated position, allow the eyes to close. And once the eyes close and you bring the gaze inward, take a deep inhalation. Inhale as much as you can, and then exhale slowly. Continuing to practice our breath. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And again, inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One more time. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. And exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now releasing control of counting the breath. Just allowing yourself to breathe naturally. But this time, bringing awareness to your breath. Feeling the air coming in through the nostrils with the inhalation, and the air releasing through the nostrils or the mouth on the exhalation. As you continue to breathe, just notice your own breath, this pranayama, this life force energy. If you notice at any point that you become distracted, just find your way back to your breath. Back to this breath awareness, this presence of being in your own body. Having this experience of sitting with yourself. Knowing what it feels like to be fully present. Keep the gaze inward. Keep lengthening the breath. What do human beings want? The answer that we hear when we ask this question is that we want happiness. Everything we do for the sake of happiness. We search for what can get us there. What do we need to go through to achieve this happiness? The actuality is that inside of us lies divine happiness. the same happiness we are looking for in the world. The joy that we find in outer things is simply a reflection of the joy of our own inner self. The real source of our contentment is within. The nectar of love and happiness lies in the heart. We seek supreme truth. And through meditation, we can experience that truth vibrating in the form of sublime happiness in the heart. You, as a human being, are divine. You are the knower of your real self. Now, we've all heard of Buddha. And one of Buddha's famous teachings is when he deconstructs the phrase, "I want happiness." If we look at that sentence, if we write it on the board, "I want happiness," Buddha teaches us that if we remove the I, which is ego, and we remove the want, which is desire, what we're left with is happiness. We already have it. We don't need to search for it or earn it. We are it. What we need to work towards is removing the layers, just like we would peel an onion, removing the ego, removing the desire, actually realizing that we are in fact pureness, love, happiness, contentment, joy, pure form of being, spirit. And in this human existence, we have layers of ego, desire, pressure from society and our culture. Only in meditation can we see the inner self directly. Since that being is our innermost consciousness, it's necessary for us to turn within to have a direct experience of it. When the self is within, why should we look for knowledge of it somewhere else? Meditation has the highest importance. It is necessary for everyone. Meditation is universal. Meditation is everyone's property, just as sleep is everyone's property. It belongs to humanity. Meditation is not something difficult or strange. All of us in our daily lives are already familiar with it. Without meditation, a doctor could not diagnose a disease, nor could a lawyer prepare a brief, nor a student pass an examination. All of our arts and skills, from driving a car to cooking a meal to painting a picture to solving a problem, are perfected through the power of concentration, which is nothing but meditation. To meditate, we turn our attention within. We focus on our inner being, just as we focus on external objects. We're meditating on the self. Through meditation, our inner awareness expands, and our understanding of inner and outer things becomes steadily deeper. Through meditation, we travel to different inner worlds and have innumerable inner experiences. Above all, meditation stills the mind, which constantly wanders, which constantly causes suffering, which constantly has us focusing on external factors. Ultimately, meditation makes us aware of our own true nature. It is this awareness which removes all suffering and delusion. And this awareness comes only when we see face to face our own inner self. If we could see the self as separate from the body, we would understand that the body does not bind us, that the pains and pleasures of the body do not affect us. The state of meditation is beyond the pleasures and pains of the waking dream and the deep sleep states. In meditation, we become the witness of all our states. This is the state of the inner self. And through meditation, we can attain that state because it is within us. When we pass from dream to waking consciousness, our understanding of ourselves changes. In the same way, when we reach the state of self, we understand ourselves differently. We understand that we are divine. Find your breath. Notice if there's space to lengthen the breath. Notice the air traveling in and the air releasing. Focus on yourself. Who are you? When we say I, who identifies itself with the body in the waking state, saying this body is mine, or I am a teacher, or I am an American, passes from the level of waking consciousness to the highest, subtlest level of consciousness. It attains this awareness. I am God, I am spirit, I am the universe. That understanding comes from within the deepest place inside of us. When a river flows into the ocean and becomes one with the ocean, it is no longer a river, it is the ocean. We do not meditate only to relax a little and experience some peace. We meditate to unfold our inner being. In the ancient text, the Upanishads, it is said that through meditation, we reach a place where the wind does not blow, where the heat of the sun does not reach, where death cannot penetrate. This is the country of eternal bliss. If a yogi becomes established there, he becomes liberated. Death cannot touch him. Within every human being lies a great and divine energy. The Indian scriptures refer to it by different names, such as Shakti, supreme energy, or Chiti, universal consciousness. And when it resides within a human body, this conscious energy is known as Kundalini. This inner power is the same creative force which is responsible for the creation, sustenance, and withdrawal of the world. This energy has been described as universal consciousness, creates this universe in total freedom. Contemporary scientists are becoming aware that the basis of the universe is energy. They are discovering what the ancient sages of India have known for millennia, that it is consciousness which forms the ground or canvas which the material universe is drawn. In fact, the entire world is the play of this energy. It becomes all the forms and shapes we see around us. This energy pervades every particle of the universe, from the supreme principle to the tiniest insect, and performs infinite functions. Just as this energy pervades the universe, it permeates the human body, filling it from head to toe. It is the supreme energy which carries on all of our life functions. It becomes the prana and apana, the incoming and outgoing breaths. It is the power which makes our heart beat and which causes the blood to flow in our veins. In this way, this conscious energy powers our bodies. Feel the energy and the power in your body now by bringing all of your attention and awareness back to your breath. Notice the inhale. Notice the exhale. And for the next couple rounds of breath, notice each detail. The awakening of this latent inner energy is essential for all of us, because only when it is activated and unfolds within us are we truly able to experience the self. We can also connect to the self by following the chakra system. And the first energy center, known as Muladhara, located at the base of the spine. The awakening of this energy is the beginning of a subtle inner process which leads us ultimately to the state of union with the self. Meditation comes spontaneously on its own. The Upanishads continue to teach us that we cannot attain the self by doing good actions or by performing rituals. We can attain the self only through direct knowledge. When our Shakti is awakened, this knowledge arises, and very naturally we are able to see the self. The self is apparent in one's inner feelings, one's inner understanding, and one's inner knowledge. Breathe. Notice if you can hear the sound of your own breath. And if there's space to deepen that breath, do so. On what should we meditate? This is something that I personally think about each week. What would my students want to hear? What would they benefit from? And when I really started to think about that this week, I thought let's meditate on meditation. One focuses one's attention on a particular object in order to still and focus the mind. One can concentrate on the heart, on the space between the eyebrows, or on the centers of the body. One can also focus on passion, attachment. The mind clings to such a being. It will take on these qualities. Patanjali is known as an ancient sage who wrote the Yoga Sutras. Some people believe that Patanjali was actually a variety of people instead of just one person. But it's been documented that Patanjali says that one may concentrate wherever the mind finds satisfaction. However, the best object of meditation is the inner self. Self with a capital S. Who you are on a soul level, separate from ego, Ego is self with a small s. Focusing on big S, self, spirit. If we want to experience the self, we should meditate on the self. The mind becomes like that on which it meditates. The mind becomes what it focuses on. When we meditate on the self, not only do we experience the self, we become the very form of the self. The witnessing of your own mind is the goal of meditation. We can practice this with detached awareness, observing our thoughts, observing our mental patterns, observing the visuals and images that come in and out as we sit in meditation with our eyes closed and our bodies in stillness. We can see and notice what comes up for us, but if we practice with detached awareness, we do not become involved. We see it, we let it go. We know that if an emotion arises, emotion is just energy in motion. It's temporary. It will come and it will go. Detached awareness. There's a poem called The Guest House. I believe it's by Rumi. And the poem is expressing how the guest house is our body. The emotion that comes in are the guest. And what I take from that is that sometimes we have guests that arrive to our house. And sometimes they're unexpected guests, just like emotions. And sometimes those guests stay for far too long, longer than we'd like to host or entertain them. It's difficult to cut that emotion off or control it. But we can notice when that's happening the more we practice detached awareness. We let what comes up be what it is. We see it, we observe it, we notice it, we sit with it. But we practice not becoming too involved. We know that it'll pass. We know that it'll shift. Energy in motion, emotion. We know that when we feel a certain kind of way, that's not who we are. It's something that'll pass. Pure awareness, which is the self, is not our good or bad thoughts. Within and without, whatever action takes place, whatever we do, it is the self which makes us aware that it is happening. This awareness is constantly there inside us. To know this knower is true meditation. The highest meditation is the state of complete inner stillness. It is very important for a meditator to understand how to deal with the mind. We run after the mind trying to find out what it is doing. The more we try to send the thoughts away, the more thoughts rush in. Instead of worrying about the thoughts in the mind, instead of trying to erase the thoughts from the mind, it would be much easier if we tried to understand the nature of the mind. What is the mind? The mind has no independent existence. If I say, don't think of a monkey, all you'll think about is a monkey standing before you. Take a deep inhale through your nostrils. And as you exhale, open your mouth, let it go. If that felt good to you, do it again. Deep inhale through the nostrils. Exhale, open your mouth, let it go. The universe, which vibrates in the mind, should not be seen as different from consciousness. If you can look at your mind in this way, you will have very good meditation. Let your mind spin as much as it wants to. Do not try to subdue it. Simply witness the different thoughts as they arise and subside. No matter what thoughts and images arise in the mind, be aware that there is no concrete material from which they are being manifested. No matter how many worlds of desires, wishes, and positive and negative thoughts in your mind that are being created, you should realize that they are all a play of consciousness. When thoughts or images arise in your meditation, maintain the awareness of equality, the understanding that all objects are nothing but different forms of the self. Your goal is not to battle with the mind, but to witness the mind. Know that you are the witness, the self, and let the mind go wherever it likes. If you meditate with this awareness, your mind will become calm very soon, and that will be high meditation. You can also practice with mantra, a cosmic word or sound vibration, and saying this with repetition. For example, Om, the universal sound of peace. You can practice mantra meditation with japamala beads. And if you've been in my live meditation classes, you have your own beads made personally by me. You can always get them out and go through your meditation with mantra. Take a deep inhale through your nostrils. Open your mouth, sigh of relief. Let it go.